A young black girl stood tall in a crowded hall, her voice steady but soft. "I speak 9 languages." Laughter burst from a wealthy man in the front row, mocking her pride. But within minutes, his laughter would die in his throat, and the very skills he ridiculed would leave him, and everyone watching, speechless. The room fell silent after the man's laughter. His expensive suit gleamed beneath the chandelier, his gold watch flashing with every mocking gesture. Around him, others smiled politely, unwilling to confront the arrogance. And yet, in the center of it all, stood a girl no older than 20, her eyes calm but burning with dignity. She had spoken the words with pride. "I speak 9 languages." To him, it was a joke. To her, it was her life's journey. Her name was Amara. From the outside, she seemed like any ordinary student. Humble clothes, a simple notebook clutched in her hand. But beneath that quiet frame was a story carved out of fire and sacrifice. Amara had grown up in a small home where money was always scarce, but where words, languages, were treasures. Her mother, a nurse who worked double shifts, would bring back stories from patients who spoke Spanish, French, or Arabic. Amara would listen, fascinated, repeating words until they became part of her. At school, she sat at the back of the classroom, whispering phrases she learned from borrowed books, from neighbors, from strangers in the marketplace. Her classmates often mocked her. "Why waste time on words you'll never use?" they would say. But Amara kept going, believing every language was a key, every word a bridge to a world she had not yet seen. By the time she turned 18, she could speak 9 languages fluently: English, French, Spanish, Arabic, Mandarin, Russian, German, Swahili, and Hindi. Each language carried not just words, but people's hearts, their pain, their dreams. And now, standing in that grand hall filled with wealthy donors and powerful men, she had dared to say it aloud. The millionaire, Mr. Grant, was known for his sharp tongue and his louder laughter. To him, money was the only language that mattered. His laugh echoed, but Amara did not flinch. She stood still, her silence sharper than any reply. One by one, people in the room turned to look at her. Some pitied her, others waited for her to fail. The silence grew heavy. And then, the host handed her a document, a speech written in multiple languages. It was meant as a test, a showpiece for the evening. Everyone expected her to stumble, to prove the man's laughter right. But Amara opened the paper and her voice flowed. French first, soft and graceful, then Spanish, alive with rhythm, then Mandarin, precise and steady. With each language, the room leaned closer. Gasps replaced laughter. Even those who understood only fragments could feel the beauty, the discipline, the undeniable power of her skill. By the time she spoke in Swahili, the very language of her grandmother's songs, the millionaire's smirk was gone. His jaw tightened, his pride swallowed by the storm of her talent. Amara finished with a single sentence that lingered in the air. Respect is a language understood everywhere, yet spoken by few. The hall erupted, not in laughter, but in applause. People stood, clapping with a force that shook the chandeliers above. For the first time that night, Mr. Grant had nothing to say. His silence was louder than his mockery. In that moment, Amara's victory was not just hers. It belonged to every child told their dreams were impossible, to every voice mocked for daring to rise. Her story became a reminder. True wealth is not measured in money, but in the bridges we build between hearts. And as the applause faded, one thing became clear. The girl who had once been overlooked had just taught an entire room that dignity, carried with quiet strength, can humble even the proudest of men. Respect is a universal language. Some people speak it fluently, others never learn it. Amara's story reminds us that real power is not in mocking others, but in lifting them up. Wherever you are watching from, share in the comments the languages you speak, or the ones you dream of learning. And if you believe respect is the greatest language of all, subscribe for more stories that honor courage, dignity, and the quiet power of resilience.